Have you ever heard of a place so terrifying that it was erased from maps, abandoned by history, and feared by everyone who lived within 50 miles of it? Imagine an entire American village where no one has lived for more than 200 years, not because of war, not because of disease, and not because of famine, but because something inside that valley refused to let anyone leave alive. Even stranger, old journals discovered in forgotten archives describe the same impossible events, written by different people decades apart, each one repeating identical warnings as if they had witnessed the same nightmare. Was it mass hysteria, a carefully hidden government secret? Or did the settlers awaken something that had been buried beneath the earth centuries before America even existed? Tonight, we're uncovering one of the most disturbing forgotten legends ever connected to the United States. Stay with us until the very end, because the final discovery changes everything historians believed about this mysterious village. And once you hear the last recorded words ever written there, you may never look at abandoned places the same way again. Deep within the Appalachian Mountains of eastern Kentucky, beyond roads that slowly disappeared into dense forests and valleys swallowed by fog, there was once a settlement known only as Ash Hollow. Today, no official sign points toward it. Most modern maps ignore it. The few locals willing to speak about the place refuse to say its name after sunset. They simply call it the Valley. According to regional folklore, every generation produced someone curious enough to search for it. Hunters, hikers, amateur historians, treasure seekers. None of them believed the stories. Most laughed at the warnings. Some even filmed themselves walking toward the forgotten valley, convinced they would expose another exaggerated ghost tale. Many returned frightened. A few never returned at all. The oldest surviving reference to Ash Hollow appeared in a handwritten church record dated 1789. It described a group of settlers who claimed to have discovered fertile land surrounded by towering cliffs and endless forests. The valley offered everything pioneers dreamed about: fresh water, rich soil, abundant wildlife. It looked like paradise. Within months, nearly 60 families built homes there. A small church stood near the center. Children played freely. Harvests exceeded expectations. Travelers passing nearby often remarked that Ash Hollow seemed almost blessed compared to neighboring settlements struggling through harsh winters. Yet, something strange appeared in nearly every diary from those first years. Not monsters, not ghosts, silence, an unnatural silence. Settlers repeatedly wrote that birds refused to sing inside the valley. Wolves circled its borders but never crossed into it. Even insects seemed absent. One farmer described standing in the middle of a field during midsummer and realizing he couldn't hear a single living creature, only the wind. At first, they ignored it. Nature behaved strangely in many unexplored places. But then, people began hearing another sound: whispers, always distant, always impossible to understand. The voices seemed to come from beneath the ground. No matter where someone stood, the whispers remained just below hearing, like hundreds of people speaking through layers of stone. The town's minister insisted the settlers pray together. Others blamed underground caves. Several believed the wind echoed through hidden tunnels. Life continued until the disappearances began. It started with livestock. Entire groups of sheep vanished overnight without broken fences or tracks. Then, hunting dogs disappeared. Their owners found collars lying neatly on forest paths. No blood, no struggle, just empty collars. Weeks later, 11-year-old Samuel Carter wandered only a few hundred yards behind his family's cabin while collecting firewood. He never came home. The entire village searched for him for 3 days. Nothing. On the 4th morning, Samuel walked back into town, alone, barefoot, perfectly calm. His parents cried with relief until they noticed something impossible. Samuel hadn't aged. His clothes were spotless despite 4 days alone in the wilderness. When his mother hugged him, she later claimed his skin felt freezing cold, even under the summer sun. The minister gently asked where he had been. Samuel smiled. "I never left." The adults exchanged nervous looks. Everyone insisted he had disappeared. Search parties had covered every inch of the valley. Samuel only repeated the same sentence, "I was standing right here." That night, every dog in Ash Hollow howled simultaneously, then stopped forever. Not one dog barked inside the village again. Months passed. The whispers grew louder. Some settlers claimed they could almost recognize familiar voices. A wife heard her dead mother calling her name. A soldier heard his fallen brother. Children claimed invisible friends invited them into the woods after dark. Sleep became impossible. People awoke exhausted despite spending entire nights in bed. Some discovered muddy footprints inside locked homes. Others reported furniture moving while everyone watched. Still, nothing directly attacked anyone. Fear spread because no one could explain what was happening. Then, winter arrived. Snow covered the valley. Tracks became impossible to hide. One morning, residents discovered hundreds of human footprints crossing every street. Bare feet, adults, children, old people. None led toward houses, none led away. Every trail simply stopped in the middle of open ground, as though the people making them had vanished into thin air. Panic finally overwhelmed the settlement. Several families decided to abandon Ash Hollow immediately. They packed wagons before sunrise and headed toward the mountain pass leading east. Only one wagon reached the neighboring town. The driver was alone. He had no memory where the others disappeared. Witnesses later swore the man's hair had turned completely white overnight. He refused to speak for the rest of his life. Spring brought no relief. Instead, new settlers arrived, unaware of the growing terror. The village leaders desperately hid the truth, fearing everyone would abandon the community. But secrets rarely remain buried, especially in places that seemed determined to expose them. One evening, blacksmith Elias Turner noticed something unusual while repairing a broken fence near the northern edge of the valley. The soil had collapsed after heavy rain. Beneath the earth lay massive stone blocks, unlike anything built by colonial settlers. Curious, he cleared away more dirt. Symbols covered every surface. Circles, eyes, strange human figures with impossibly long arms. No one recognized the language. The minister declared the stones pagan relics and ordered covered immediately. Elias refused. He believed they belonged to an ancient civilization predating European settlement. Several men returned the next morning carrying shovels, lanterns, and ropes. By sunset, they uncovered the entrance to what appeared to be an underground chamber. Cold air rushed upward despite the warm spring weather. One volunteer lowered a lantern into the darkness. The light disappeared, not because it went out, because something below seemed to swallow its glow. No echo followed when they dropped a stone, only silence, and endless silence. Against every warning, Elias climbed down first. The others followed. The staircase descended much farther than expected, nearly 100 feet underground. The walls were carved with thousands of identical symbols. Then they reached the bottom. The chamber stretched beyond the reach of their lanterns. In its center stood hundreds of weathered wooden chairs arranged in perfect circles. Every chair faced inward. Every chair was empty, except one. At the center rested an ancient rocking chair. It moved gently, back and forth, although there was no wind. One of the men laughed nervously and stepped closer. The rocking stopped. Every lantern flickered at the exact same moment. Then, someone whispered behind them, "You're finally back." Every man turned. No one stood there, yet each later insisted the voice belonged to someone. No one spoke for nearly a full minute. The men stood frozen inside the underground chamber, staring into the darkness beyond the rocking chair. Every instinct told them to climb back to the surface, yet none of them moved. Later, the survivors would all describe the same feeling, as though the air itself had become impossibly heavy, pressing against their bodies, making every breath feel borrowed. Then, the whisper came again. This time, it was louder. "Welcome home." The voice echoed from every direction at once. Elias Turner slowly lifted his lantern toward the center of the chamber. The rocking chair had stopped moving completely, but something else had changed. The dust covering the stone floor was no longer untouched. Fresh footprints surrounded the chair, bare human footprints, small ones, large ones, dozens of them, yet no one had seen anyone enter. One of the younger workers, Thomas Reed, nervously whispered that they should leave immediately. Before anyone answered, every lantern suddenly dimmed to little more than glowing embers. Then they heard breathing. Not one person, hundreds. Slow, deep, perfectly synchronized, as though an invisible crowd surrounded them only inches away. Someone screamed. Another man dropped his lantern. Darkness swallowed the chamber. Panic erupted. The men stumbled toward the staircase, pushing each other, climbing blindly through the suffocating blackness. Elias reached the surface first. Seconds later, two others emerged behind him. But when they counted everyone, Thomas was gone. His rope still hung inside the shaft. His lantern rested exactly where he had dropped it. There was no sound below, no cry for help, no answer when they called his name. It was as if he had simply ceased to exist. The entrance was sealed with heavy stones before sunrise. No one dared reopen it. Word spread through Ash Hollow within hours. For the first time, nearly every family agreed on one thing. They had to leave. Preparations began immediately. Horses were loaded, food was packed, children were gathered together. But something strange happened before dawn. Every road leading out of the valley had disappeared. Trails used for years simply ended against walls of dense forest no one remembered seeing before. Several men insisted they were walking in circles. Others claimed the mountains themselves looked different. A hunter climbed a ridge to locate the eastern pass. Instead, he found himself staring back down at the church from the opposite side of town. No matter which direction anyone traveled, they always returned to Ash Hollow. The valley had become a prison. Over the following weeks, the settlers stopped measuring time by calendars. Days blurred together. Sunrises arrived too early. Nights seemed impossibly long. Some residents believed months had passed. Others insisted only a few days had gone by. Even the clocks disagreed. One clock might read 6 in the morning, while another showed nearly midnight. The minister attempted to maintain hope. Every evening he gathered the remaining families inside the small wooden church for prayer. At first, everyone attended. Then people began disappearing during the services. Entire families vanished while sitting quietly in the pews, only empty benches where they had been moments earlier. Soon the congregation became smaller, then smaller again. Eventually, only 23 people remained. One rainy afternoon, Elias made a decision that many considered madness. He believed the underground chamber held the answer. If something beneath the valley had trapped them, perhaps confronting it was the only chance to survive. 6 volunteers agreed to return. Before descending, they tied thick ropes around their waists, each connected to massive oak trees above. "If anything happens," Elias said quietly, "pull us back." The men climbed into the darkness once again. This time, the chamber looked different. The chairs were no longer empty. Shadowy figures now occupied every seat. They weren't solid enough to identify, only outlines, motionless, watching. The ancient rocking chair continued its slow movement. Back, forward, back, forward. Elias forced himself closer. The symbols carved on the floor suddenly began glowing with a faint bluish light. One of the shadow figures slowly stood. Its body stretched unnaturally tall. Its face remained hidden beneath complete darkness. When it spoke, every voice inside the chamber seemed to merge into one. "You built your homes on our silence." Another figure stood. "You cut the trees that sealed the doorway." Another, "You woke what should never wake." The volunteers tried to run toward the staircase. None of them could move. Invisible pressure locked their feet to the ground. The shadow surrounding the rocking chair slowly unfolded into the shape of an elderly woman, or at least something pretending to be one. Her smile widened far beyond what any human face could manage. "We were here before your maps," she whispered, "before your churches, before your language." Then she looked directly at Elias. "And now you belong to us." Suddenly, every rope snapped at exactly the same moment. Above ground, the other settlers desperately pulled. Only empty ropes emerged. Not one volunteer returned. Ash Hollow fell into complete despair. Food supplies dwindled. People stopped speaking. Some wandered into the woods willingly after hearing loved ones call their names. Others locked themselves inside their homes until starvation claimed them. The village slowly died without violence, without war, without disease, only fear. Months later, a traveling surveyor named Jonathan Mercer accidentally entered the valley after becoming lost during a storm. He expected to find an ordinary frontier settlement. Instead, he found every house standing exactly as if the residents had vanished during dinner. Tables remained set, fireplaces contained cold ashes, children's toys rested where they had been dropped, doors stood open, no bodies, no survivors, only silence. Mercer spent 2 nights documenting everything in his journal. He repeatedly mentioned feeling watched. He claimed footsteps followed him through empty streets every evening. Whenever he turned around, nothing. On the 3rd night, he finally discovered the church. Inside lay hundreds of handwritten pages scattered across the floor. Diaries, letters, prayer books. Every document ended almost identically. They know our names. They're calling us. We can't leave. Mercer gathered as many journals as he could carry before escaping at sunrise. At least, he believed he escaped. When he reached Lexington several days later, friends immediately noticed something disturbing. Mercer insisted he had been gone only 3 days. According to everyone else, he had been missing for almost 6 months. His beard had barely grown. His supplies remained nearly untouched, yet the calendar told a completely different story. Historians dismissed his account as exhaustion. His journals were archived, eventually forgotten. Nearly 150 years passed. Forests consumed Ash Hollow. The village disappeared beneath vines, moss, and collapsing timber. Most Americans never heard its name. Then, in 1978, a university archaeology team studying early Appalachian settlements uncovered Mercer's forgotten journals inside a state archive. Professor Daniel Harper believed the story was nothing more than frightened colonial superstition. Against repeated warnings from local residents, Harper organized an expedition to locate the lost settlement. Satellite photographs suggested unusual geometric formations beneath the forest canopy. The team entered the mountains in late October. 6 researchers, 2 graduate students, 1 documentary cameraman. For the first 2 days, everything appeared normal. Then, equipment began malfunctioning. Fresh batteries died within minutes. Compasses spun endlessly. Audio recorders captured faint whispers no one remembered hearing. The cameraman reviewed one evening's footage. Standing behind Professor Harper for nearly 12 consecutive minutes was a pale figure wearing clothing from the late 18th century. No one on the expedition had seen anyone there. They assumed it was a camera glitch. The following morning, the figure appeared again, closer, watching, always silent, always just beyond the edge of human attention. 3 members of the expedition wanted to leave immediately. Harper refused. He believed fear was affecting everyone's judgment. That afternoon, they discovered the buried stone entrance exactly where Mercer's journal described. Although 2 centuries had passed, the staircase remained perfectly intact. The carvings showed no signs of erosion, almost as if time itself had refused to touch them. Ignoring every warning recorded in the journals, Harper ordered the team underground. Their radio transmission continued for exactly 18 minutes. The final recording, recovered days later by search crews, began with ordinary observations: stone walls, ancient symbols, rows of wooden chairs. Then, breathing became audible. Someone whispered, "Do you hear them?" Another voice answered, "They're sitting here." Professor Harper calmly said there were no chairs, only empty space. Seconds later, another researcher screamed, "No, they're not empty anymore." The recording dissolved into static. The final words captured before the signal vanished forever were spoken by someone whose voice investigators never identified. "There are more of them now, because we came." The rescue teams never found Professor Harper or anyone else from the expedition. Only abandoned equipment remained near the entrance. The underground chamber itself had vanished. Solid rock covered the place where the staircase had once existed. Even modern ground-penetrating radar detected nothing beneath the valley. It was as if the earth had erased every trace. Today, historians continue debating whether Ash Hollow ever truly existed. Skeptics argue that the journals are elaborate fiction. Others believe the disappearances resulted from isolation, starvation, and psychological collapse. Yet local families who have lived in those mountains for generations still teach one simple rule to their children. If you ever hear someone calling your name from deep inside the woods, never answer, especially if the voice belongs to someone you love, because not every familiar voice wants to bring you home. Some only want to make sure you never leave. Perhaps the greatest horror hidden within the legend of Ash Hollow isn't the ancient chamber, the vanished settlers, or the impossible whispers beneath the earth. It's the possibility that some places are not abandoned because people forgot them. Some places remain empty because they remember us. And maybe the greatest lesson this forgotten American legend offers is that curiosity without wisdom can become the doorway to irreversible tragedy. Human history has always advanced through exploration, but it has also survived through respect for nature, for the unknown, and for warnings passed down by those who came before us. Sometimes the oldest legends are not meant to entertain. Sometimes they exist because someone, somewhere, paid the ultimate price to leave behind a warning for the rest of us.